Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, it's still freezing cold here, and as we're going through Philippians, and where I'm at in the prison, there's no heat here. So, again, to stay warm today, I have my jacket on, my long sleeve shirt, and I got my warm hat on to keep me toasty warm here. As we go through Philippians, and remember, yesterday we were talking about rejoice in the Lord. And not just rejoicing because of circumstances around us, but rejoice in the Lord. Paul is continuing on today. It's in the same paragraph here, and it's entitled today. Watch out for the dogs. Watch out for those dogs. And he's going to call out a movement that's been happening that's wrong. Okay, and so he calls that out and it says, "Watch out for those dogs." So if someone says that to you today, watch out for those dogs, you're thinking actual dogs, or you're thinking, oh, those must be some really bad people. Well, Paul was equating these people with leading people astray as bad people here, really bad. So watch out for them. So let's read here today. And this is taken from Philippians chapter 3, verses 2 through 6 here. Okay? It says this: watch out for those dogs, those evildoers, those mutilators of the flesh. For it is we who are the circumcision, we who serve God by his Spirit, who boast in Christ Jesus, and who put no confidence in the flesh, though I myself have reasons for such confidence. If someone thinks they have reasons to put more confidence in the flesh, I have more. I was circumcised on the 8th day of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of the Hebrews in regard to the law, a Pharisee as for zeal and persecution for the church, and as for righteousness based on the law, I was faultless. Okay? So let me explain this whole passage to you here. You know, it looks like, watch out for the dogs. Well, Paul is talking about what's happened here is you had people back then that had kind of subscribed to this thought that the church should be Jewish, okay, and you follow all the Jewish law, and then you add Christ on top of it, okay, and so you have all this Jewish law, and then you add Jesus on top of it. Well, no, I mean we're saved through Jesus, not the Jewish law, and so what would happen is this: you had that Jewish law, and the big thing with the Jewish law, if you're to be a Jew, is if you're a man, you're circumcised, okay? So these Gentiles coming in, according to these guys, they all had to be circumcised, which hurts pretty, it really, really hurts if you're an adult. That's why it's done as a child, because the child doesn't remember the hurt, and it doesn't hurt as much at that point, okay? And in fact, Paul was circumcised, and he says, man, I was circumcised on the 8th day. Okay, that's when legally you were supposed to do it. So what was happening is you had those guys come along, and they were like, yeah, you got to follow all the Jewish law, you got to be Jewish, and then you add Christ on top of it. Okay, and so and it's that whole thing. And Paul was going, no, that's not the way it is. It's everything is we're saved through Jesus. It's all about Jesus, not the Jewish law. The Jewish law can be good, and it's to show us that we're a sinner, but we don't have to do all that Jewish law anymore. So that's why he was saying, watch out for those dogs, because those guys insist for you to be saved and to become a Christian, you have to naturally know Jesus, but you also have to become Jewish, and then you have to be circumcised. And Paul is saying, no. And he was going so far as to say they're mutilators of the flesh, because there's no point in being circumcised, was his thought. There's no point in doing it. All you're doing is mutilating the flesh, okay? So it's kind of graphic, yeah. And that's why he says, watch out for those guys. You don't have to follow that train of thought. All you need is Jesus, okay? And he goes on to say, hey, if anyone is like, I'm not doing this because I'm not a Jew, because I was like an elite Jew, you might say. I did all the law, I was circumcised, I was a Pharisee, all this stuff. He did. And he's going, But I realize it's through Jesus. It's not through the Jewish law. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense when I say, watch out for those dogs. Now, the point for us today is this. Watch out, because people are adding things to the gospel. Okay, and that's what was happening here. They were adding that Jewish law. Oh, you got to do this thing. You got to be circumcised, and you got to become a Jew in order to be a Christian and be a part of the church, which is not true. And so people today will say stuff like that too. Oh, you have to do this or that in order to be a true follower of Jesus. When, no, the Bible teaches that we're saved through faith in Jesus, nothing else. Okay, when you start adding all this other garbage to it, that's what is false doctrine. Okay, and Paul would say the same thing today. Watch out for those dogs, because they're leading you astray by adding all these other things that are not part of the gospel message. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense here. Watch out for those dogs. Hey, I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Philippians. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.